The Battle of Novšiće, Bitka na Novzišima, was a battle for control over Plav and Guzanj fought on 4 December 1879 between the forces of Principality of Montenegro led by Marko Miljanov and those of the League of Prizren, commanded by Ali Pasha of Guzanj, the Albanian Kaymakam of Guzanj. The League of Prizren consisted of the local Albanians and Slavic Muslims from Plav and Guzanj and Scutari Vilaye and irregulars from Kosovo, Vilaye. This battle followed the Montenegrin-Ottoman War. It happened because the Ottoman Empire avoided to provide conditions for peaceful cession of Plav and Guzanj to Montenegro, as agreed in the Treaty of Berlin. To straighten the position at Congress of Berlin and later to avoid fulfillment of their obligations from the Treaty of Berlin, the Ottomans unofficially supported the League of Prizren, which mobilized the pro-Ottoman irregulars. They easily mobilized 15,000 forces. Because Plav and Guzanj were predominantly populated by the pro-Ottoman Muslims and Albanians who opposed this cession to the predominantly Christian-populated Montenegro, the League of Prizren forces gathered in Plav and Guzanj where they were put under the command of the Ottoman Kaymakam of Guzanj, Ali Pasha. The Montenegrin forces of 4 battalions with 6,000 men were positioned along the demarcation line near villages Velika and Murino. Until the end of November 1879 they were under the command of Voivode Petrovich, who strictly respected instructions of the Montenegrin government to employ static and defensive tactics. At the beginning of December 1879, Montenegrin Prince Nicholas appointed Marko Miljanov instead of Petrovich. On 4 December 1879, one skirmish in the village Velika evolved into the battle when the Montenegrin forces advanced into Ottoman territory. 2 battalions commanded by Miljanov quickly advanced without securing their flanks. The League of Prizren forces ambushed and surrounded them near the village of Novšiće. After several hours of fighting, additional 2 Montenegrin battalions commanded by Vuković arrived and released forces under Miljanov from the encirclement and secured their retreat. Both sides suffered significant casualties. About a month later, in the subsequent battle, the Montenegrin forces near Murino near Plav defeated the League of Prizren forces. In 1880 the Ottomans ceded Seaport Olsanj to Montenegro, instead of the 2 towns of Plav and Guzanj. Since the Ottomans completely lost control over the League of Prizren, they disestablished it and crushed their forces in April 1881. Ali Pasha of Guzanj was promoted by the Ottomans to the position of Muhtasarif of the Sanjak of Ipek and awarded the title of Beylibi. After a fierce disagreement with Prince Nikola in 1882, Miljanov decided to retire from public life to his native Medun. In 1912 Montenegro annexed Plav and Guzanj. Background: Treaty of Berlin and League of Prizren. The Battle of Novšiće followed the Montenegrin-Ottoman War, which the Ottomans had lost. The Ottoman Empire had accepted de jure the independence of Montenegro, which received certain territorial gains. According to the Treaty of Berlin, the territories of Plav and Guzanj were awarded to Montenegro, in compensation for territories in Herzegovina captured by Montenegro during the war. Until October 1879 the Montenegrin forces were able to march into this territory without any resistance. However, when Montenegrins prepared forces for a military expedition in Plav and Guzanj, the Ottomans intervened with the Great Powers to stop it. In order to avoid eventual conflicts, the Ottomans were officially intentioned to respect their obligations. However, in reality, they supported the League of Prizren. The Ottoman governor of Scutari sent ammunitions to Guzanj to be distributed to the local population. Thousands of armed irregulars were mobilized by the League of Prizren all over the region and gathered in Plav and Guzanj. The British ambassador at Istanbul, Austin Henry Layard, informed his government that the Ottoman Empire did nothing to prevent the influx of armed bands into the region of Guzanj, and emphasized that the High Porte would be held responsible for the consequences. Since October 1879, there were numerous skirmishes between the Montenegrin forces and irregulars. Velika attacks. On October 9, 1879, Albanian Highlanders attacked the Montenegrins between Jonica and Velika, in Vasiljevici, and a bloody fight continued into the night. The Montenegrins managed to push the Albanians over the border, and this faintly did aware the Albanians and their several thousand fighters. The Bratonosici and Morocani with Yatagans ambushed the Albanians from behind, and cut them, which forced the Albanians to flee. The Montenegrins caught in and slew for 2 hours. The Albanian death toll was towards 1,000, while the Montenegrins had 85 deaths and 100 wounded, and some 100 horses and plenty of weapons were seized. Among the Albanians, there were many ununiformed Ottoman regulars. Prelude. Montenegrin forces. Until the end of November 1879, the supreme commander of Montenegrin forces, positioned at the demarcation line toward Plav and Guzanj, was Voivode Blazar Petrovich, member of the ruling Petrovich Dynasty. At the end of November, Prince Nicholas I of Montenegro removed Petrovich from his position with the explanation that his presence on that position was temporarily cancelled as unnecessary. The prince appointed Marko Miljanov on the position of commander of this part of Montenegrin forces. Miljanov was appointed as member of the neighboring Kuchi tribe, who knew very well the territory of Plav and Guzanj and also the customs of its population. Miljan Vukovesevic, an elderly voivode of Vasiljevici, was appointed as Miljanov's advisor with position in Andrijevica. According to some speculations, the prince knew that an eventual success of this campaign would not bring much glory to the Montenegrin side, while eventual failure could significantly discredit the Montenegrin commanders. That is why the prince removed a member of his dynasty from the commanding position and appointed Miljanov as commander and Vesevic as his advisor, both being his political enemies. Some authors speculated that Prince Nicholas appointed Marko Miljanov as responsible for the takeover of Plav and Guzanj, knowing that his forces would be attacked by much stronger forces, because Nicholas wanted his political enemy Miljanov dead. Miljanov was very enthusiastic with the opportunity to capture Plav and Guzanj. He was convinced that he was going to punish Ali Bey of Guzanj for his misdeeds. Vesevic advised him to be very careful, otherwise Ali Bey might be promoted to Ali Pasha. The Montenegrin forces were organized along tribal lines. After the war with Ottomans, Montenegro had demobilized part of its forces, expecting a peaceful takeover of the areas of Plav and Guzanj. Also, Montenegro was short of food for larger number of soldiers due to the drought of 1879. The Montenegrin forces that participated in this battle were composed of 4 battalions. 2 battalions of Kuchi and Bratonosici tribes were under direct command of Miljanov and positioned in Andrijevica, along the demarcation line near village Murino. 2 Vasiljevici battalions were commanded by Todor Miljanov Vukovic and positioned in Bahrain along the demarcation line near the village of Velika. They all had between 4,000 and 6,000 men. Pro-Ottoman forces. The pro-Ottoman forces of 2,100 were gathered in Guzanj and put under command of the Ottoman Kaymakam of Guzanj, Ali Bey of Guzanj. Notable commanders of the pro-Ottoman forces include Jaja Efendi Muzik, Jekup Ferovic, Husenbek Reza Pagic. Numerous pro-Ottoman forces were mobilized by the Prizren League. The Ottoman military officer Muhtar Pasha arrived to Prizren in November 1879. He had 15 battalions of Ottoman soldiers there. The Ottomans informed Montenegrins that these forces would be used to provide peaceful takeover of Plav and Guzanj by Montenegro. Montenegro complained to great powers and accused Ottomans that their actions contradicted their promises because Ottoman forces under Muhtar Pasha were used not for peaceful cession of Plav and Guzanj to Montenegro. Instead they were used to organize and support irregulars in their actions against Montenegro. There are different estimations about the composition of the Ottoman forces. Regarding the eventual presence of the officers and soldiers of regular Ottoman army and regarding their ethnic composition, the Montenegrin side emphasized that Muhtar Pasha secretly commanded pro-Ottoman forces which included many regular Ottoman soldiers disguised as irregulars by wearing Albanian costumes. They also emphasized that pro-Ottoman irregulars were commanded by the officers of the regular Ottoman army who extensively used bugles during the battle, which did not exist in Albanian military tradition. The Albanian sources on this battle overemphasized participation of Albanians in it without mentioning many non-Albanian Muslims that participated on the pro-Ottoman side. On the other hand, the Muslims from Plav and Guzanj do not even mention Prizren League in their traditional epic poetry on this battle, but only different tribes and the 30 Bayraktars, with Albanian language being mother tongue of 3 out of 30 Bayraktars. The battle evolved from one skirmish of the 4th of December 1879 that was similar to many other taking place in this region since October of the same year. On that day a detachment of the pro-Ottoman irregulars attacked Montenegrin guards in the village Velika and forced him to retreat. 2 Vasiljević battalions commanded by Todor Miljanov Vuković pushed the attackers back and chased them across the demarcation line towards Plav. Although the Montenegrin forces were ordered to employ the defensive tactics in case of the conflict, Miljanov decided to use this incursion of Montenegrin forces under Vuković and on the same day crossed the demarcation line, advancing with 2 battalions into the territory of Plav. They crossed the bridge over River Lim south of the village Murino and quickly advanced toward Plav and Guzanj along the River Lim. Initially, the Montenegrin forces advanced undisturbed, which led them to conclusion that they were not expected or that the pro-Ottoman forces were not well organized, so they left their flanks unsecured. When they reached the narrow part of the valley surrounded by high hills near the village of Novšiće, the pro-Ottoman forces attacked them. Without secured flanks, the Montenegrin forces soon found themselves surrounded and stuck in the deep snow. For hours they repelled numerous attacks while both sides suffered heavy casualties. Prominent commanders of the pro-Ottoman forces Jakub Ferović and Omar Basulović, the Bajraktar of Plav, were killed at the beginning of the battle. Arif Basic, another commander of the pro-Ottoman forces from Plav, also died in this battle. The pro-Ottoman forces from Plav were initially forced to retreat until around 600 fighters from Rugova attacked Montenegrin flanks from the direction of Jegmista. In the evening of the 4th of December, 2 Vasiljević Montenegrin battalions commanded by Todor Miljanov Vuković reached the battlefield in Novšiće and released surrendered forces of Miljanov, securing their retreat. Pavle Rovansky reported that 109 Montenegrin soldiers were killed and 115 wounded in this battle. The forces under command of Vuković did not suffer significant casualties. The casualties of the pro-Ottoman side were around 250 men. Some sources say that the Ottoman irregulars beheaded 220 Montenegrin soldiers and for 6 months kept their heads impaled on the sticks. Aftermath: the Battle of Murino. About a month after the Battle of Novšiće, on 8 January 1880, the pro-Ottoman irregulars attacked Montenegrin forces at the village of Murino, but were defeated and pushed back toward Plav. According to the Montenegrin Prince Nicholas, the defeat of retreating Ottoman forces was so devastating that Montenegrin forces finished the battle before the night had fallen, which is something they usually don't do. The Albanian irregulars burned down several villages, which belonged to the Vasiljević clan. This battle was considered as Montenegrin revenge for their defeat in the Battle of Novšiće. Right after the Battle of Murino, Marko Miljanov received a report that Albanians are boasting for keeping Plav and Goznj, not for the battles they fought with the Montenegrins. Some reports say that Montenegrin soldiers brought 221 noses they cut from the dead bodies of Ottoman Albanian irregulars. Outcome and significance. The Battle of Novšiće was not very significant from the military point of view. If it had happened during the Montenegrin-Ottoman War, it would probably have remained hardly noticed. The contemporary circumstances resulted with its significant political consequences. The main consequences of the Battle of Novšiće were strengthening of the positions of the League of Prizren and losing any chance for Montenegrins to soon capture Plav and Goznj. The battle casted a certain shadow on the exceptional Montenegrin military reputation, gave some confidence to Albanians and significantly affected the position of Prince Nicholas and his government. Both parties claimed victory after this battle, underestimating own casualties and overestimating enemy casualties. The Montenegrin government tried to conceal the military defeat and published information about 85 killed and 107 wounded Montenegrins as opposed to 1,000 killed and wounded enemy soldiers. The Ottoman Sultan promoted Ali Bey to higher military rank and awarded him with enough money to build a mosque in Plav, the Sultania. Only after the Battle of Novšiće the Ottoman governor Ahmed Muhtar Pasha issued a proclamation to the population of Plav and Goznj instructing them to accept a peaceful cession to Montenegro. Since this was proven impossible without bloodbath, the Ottoman Empire ceded Elsinj to Montenegro in 1880 as compensation for Plav and Goznj. Soon the Ottomans completely lost control over the League of Prizren, which fell under the influence of pro-Austrian Albanian nationalists. So the Ottomans had to defeat the irregulars of the League in April 1881. In 1881 the Ottomans promoted Ali Pasha to the position of Muhtasarif of the Sanjak of Ipek. Plav and Goznj remained in the Ottoman Empire until 1912–1913, when they were occupied and annexed by Montenegro. Legacy. This battle inspired poets of both sides that participated in it. The Ottomans made up a mockery song. The poetry of Muslims include description of the horse Jakub Ferovich that runs trough the battlefield after the death of his master. There are several poems about this battle composed by the Vasajevici tribe. Pavel Rovansky, who was a medic in the Montenegrin army, decided to publish a song, The Battles in Polimlja, based on the singing of Muslim gusla player Osman Abdullah descending from the Kuchi tribe. According to this song, the pro-Ottoman forces included many neighboring Albanian tribes led by their Bayraktars, the Krasniki by Manavdia, Gashi by Ali Ibro, tribes from Dukagini by Mustafa Bayraktar, tribes from Pek by Mahmud Begovic, from Gukova by Sait Begovic, and some by Saleh Aga. According to the legend, before the battle began, advancing Montenegrin forces noticed gusla player Osman Abdullah spying on them, so they captured him. When he explained that he just wanted to personally witness the battle so he could make song about it, Miljanov ordered his release. On 12 August 2014 in the village Gornja Jonica near Plav, a monument was erected in honor of the Montenegrin soldiers killed in this battle.